What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Tons of great bass fishing content on the channel. So if you guys are looking for any information, please search the channel. If you have any video ideas, we'd love to hear them. So make sure to drop them in the comments below. And with more video ideas, we'd love to get some content on any of those. Definitely appreciate you hitting the subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. Now, we're talking swim baits here today, and I got a little rigging hack for you guys. Maybe you guys have seen this, maybe you haven't, but this is something that I've been playing with a lot here lately, and it's just a way that I feel like you can get a little better action out of your swim baits and make them look a little more realistic, a little more natural, and in turn, those are all good things in my opinion. Those are things that you want your bait to be doing and to be looking better to help you catch more fish. You know, that's the goal of this channel, is to help you guys catch more fish. And hopefully you guys can use this tip to apply it to your fishing and get out on the water and catch some more bass. Okay, so here is two swim baits that I've had rigged up. Obviously, this one's still got some line tied on him. He's a little beat up. This guy, he's getting a little tore up himself. Now, I want you to look at these two baits and just tell me which one do you think looks more realistic. So this guy here, obviously, he's got a big lead head in front of him, you know, and then the eye is kind of placed backwards a little bit. And those are, you know, that's probably the most standard way of rigging a swim bait, is just going to be on a big lead head, jig head like that. And don't get me wrong, that's an excellent way to rig a swim bait. Plenty of bass have been caught on this right here. But there's a couple things. You know, obviously you got the lead all the way at the front, so it's visible to the fish, to yourself. That's going to be hitting against the bottom and kind of dinging around, bouncing around, things like that. And then it's just a different action because all of the weight is towards the front. So he's going to be very nose heavy. He's going to swim almost nose down. You know, and your line tie kind of helps with that, but still he is going to be very nose heavy. You know, there's no weight towards the back of this bait. So he is very nose heavy and he's wanting to swim nose down. Now you look at this guy right here. I mean, they're different baits, obviously, but they're comparable size swim baits. Now, you see there's no lead exposed on him, so he looks a lot more natural. The eye of the swim bait is in a natural position on where it should be. There's nothing in front of him other than the little eye of the hook popping out. And now you may think there's no weight in him, but actually the lead is inside of this swim bait, and these are actually the exact same weight of jig heads. The hook may be a little bit longer on this one if we actually compare them side by side, but I actually like a little bit shorter shank swim bait or shorter shank hook on my swim bait, because a lot of times these fish eat this bait head first. So if you have a super long shank hook on there, you're actually potentially missing some fish because he's biting the head first, and that hook could actually be past where he's biting. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. So this guy I actually have rigged up on the Core Tackle Tush swim bait hook. The Tush stands for the Ultimate Swim Bait Hook right there. And you can see that lead is spread out all the way down the shank of that hook. So it really spreads that out. And what it does is it actually allows the swim bait to rock a lot more side to side, because that weight is, you know, kind of in the belly of that bait. It helps that bait roll side to side like that. And that's really, you know, a lot of what you're looking for in a swim bait. Obviously you got the tail kick, the paddle kicking on all these different swim baits. And that's a great way to attract fish as well. But to me, it's all about that roll. I want that body shimmying, rolling side to side like that. And it's a lot easier to get that action out of your swim bait with this hook right here. So let's dive in. I'll show you guys. They got tons of different options, you know, depending on the size of swim bait you're throwing on your tush. You could throw a big giant 7/0 hook. This is a big giant tush for your big giant swim baits. The one that I'm throwing right here, this is the 3/8 ounce with the 4/0 hook. You see, that's the one I had rigged up right there. That's the 3/8 4/0 hook. There's tons of different options, even down to your finesse options. If you want a little 2/0 hook for your small swim baits, tons of different options in the tush. And I feel like this creates, you know, we kind of talked about it. It makes your swim bait look a little more natural, creates a different action, and I feel like it helps you catch a few more fish. So let's rig one of these up. It's gonna be a little bit different than your standard screw lock style jig head or even threading on a jig head. It's gonna be a little bit different, a little more difficult to get him rigged up perfectly and set. But once you get him rigged up, I feel like it helps the bait last longer. And obviously it's gonna be more natural, have a better action, and catch some more fish. So let's grab a little super glue. If you guys know me, you know I love my super glue. I love gluing every bait that I rig up. So first thing you wanna do is you wanna lay the tush next to the swim bait to see basically where your hook point is gonna come out the top. So I always like to just lay him there, just like, you know, so all that lead is exposed, just the eye of the hook is popping out the nose of the swim bait. And I look where that hook would come out of this swim bait. So it's gonna be right there. Now I'm gonna take the hook point and I'm gonna put a little mark right there. Okay, I'm just gonna run it through that swim bait right there. So now I have a target. So that's my target when I start threading through the nose of this swim bait. I am trying to bring that hook point out that hole that I just created there. So that creates a target. So we're gonna go as center as possible, straight through the nose of the swim bait. And now this is actually a hollow belly. So once you get through that, it's actually hollow. So you have a little bit of room to play and move around in there. And now I'm gonna bend this swim bait down and get that hook point to come out that point, or that hole that I made right back there. Now, this is where things get a little difficult. This is where I like to use a little bit of spit just to kind of lubricate this lead sliding up over the head so you don't tear it in pieces. You know, I like to just make sure that it slides up there a little easy. So just spit on that a little bit, and now you're gonna push the head of that swim bait up over this lead and kind of pull the bait the rest of the way down with it. Now, when you get to about this point, before you finish it off, that's when I like to add the super glue. So we're gonna take the super glue here, put him right up here on this point. Well, if we get some super glue out, put the super glue there just like that. And now you're gonna finish threading that tush all the way down into the swim bait, just like that, till just the eye of the hook is exposed. Everything else is buried inside that swim bait. Now you're gonna let your super glue dry. It will seal that hole that the tush went through there. And now it's actually back to a hollow belly. And that hook is buried inside there. He's rigged up. And they'll actually, like I said, this actually allows your baits to last a lot longer. This bait is extremely durable now. You know, the only thing that's gonna rip up after you catch a few fish is this top right here. That's the only thing that's gonna start to rip once you've caught 2 or 3, 4, 5 fish. But after that, I mean, I feel like you pretty much got your money's worth out of a swim bait if you caught that many fish on it. So this is just a cool little hack. I feel like you guys could use this, catch some more bass, and a really important swim bait tip that I've been using a lot here lately, and I know you guys can too, wherever you may be fishing, throwing swim baits. There's a size, there's a hook size, there's a weight size for whatever swim bait you may be throwing. So appreciate you guys tuning in to this video. Hopefully you learned something. Leave me those likes and comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of this rig, and we'll see you guys next time.